Let's take a look and see now about what we might want to do to start making our presentation board that will go along with our physical models as a final design review with a client eventually. That would hopefully get them to buy off on our plan. And so the first thing to do is pick one of these. I've chosen, there's a bunch of them. There's landscape, there's portrait. I'm going to try this one. I haven't done this one before. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've made a copy. This is my own copy. And so I'm going to go ahead and delete the slides that I don't want. So now I've got this, and my title is Residential to Commercial Renovation. And of course, that's obviously way too big, so I'm going to have to get that down to probably like a 48. No, even that's too small. Maybe a 72. That looks pretty good. And I got to find an ARC logo somewhere. I happen to have them. But if you go to the ARC homepage, you'll probably find one somewhere. Let's see. There's American River College. And maybe I'll go to the regular student home and see if I get it. There we go. That little logo right there. So if I make that really, really big, and by the way, you can find these also. There's a place on here where you can go to get the to get that file. If you look around on here enough, you can find it. Okay, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna make this kind of big right now and try to take a snip of it. No, I don't want to talk with you. And that looks like I made it a little too big. There we go. And I'll just take a snip for now so that I've got something to put on there. There we go. And I can get that for you. There we go. There we go. It should line up with the QR code. There. And I'll show you how to get a QR code later. So here, this area, and it doesn't have to be all in this box. This is just general. I'm going to put my existing site and project description. So I know what the project goals are. They're right here. Add a commercial business. And if I do right click, paste without formatting, and make that a little bit wider, there we go. So we're going to add a commercial business, create a cash flow in 8 years, right click, paste without formatting, and work live allowed under Sac County zoning. Let's see if that'll fit there. Paste without. Yeah, that'll all fit there. So those are sort of the goals. And you can play with the format for those and what that might look like and whether you want them just hanging out there like that. But those are the basic ones right there. Those are the key project goals. And probably have to go look and see the existing site. Large residential property, zoned RD5. Let me just put this whole thing on there, and then I'll edit it down. That looks a little small. It's kind of hard to read. So again, a lot of this is what are you going to do to kind of help get this started a little bit. Existing large residential property. I can just put a comma there to know that it's zoned RD5. go. With a small residence building on the site, most being unimproved. There we go. That's the main part. So that's a little bit shorter now. So I can make that maybe a little bit bigger so that it's readable. And maybe make it something like that. There we go. And I might even put my image of the existing site in over here. Okay. So this would be a great place for my existing site. I'm not positive I have that right now in what I've got. So I'd probably have to go get it. I'd have to go get my existing site to put in there. So I'm just going to put a place marker in for right now. Existing site plan. And that way I know that that's what's going to go there. And I can do all sorts of things. I can make it all kind of like the background behind here. I can put some dollar signs in here. They want a cash flow. I can start thinking about what this little area will look like. Maybe it won't even have this. Maybe this will be in a text box. And you won't even have a box around it. Okay, or maybe you like having the box, and but you want a light, a transparent background for it, something like that. Okay, so you'll be able to play with this, but we're laying it out now. Now we put in the proposed site plan, stuff that matches it. You can take that from here, right? I've got this, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this. There's all sorts of stuff I can put on here, right? Here's what it's going to look like. Here's what it's going to look like. So let me take a couple of these. And this looks like, to me, it should be a little bit bolder, a little bit bigger, probably centered up. Now here, I'll just put in a bunch of what these look like. Okay, and of course, I'm just putting placeholders in for right now. And this is sort of what it looks like, and here's a blow up of that, of that area. And you can do all sorts of things. We'll go over more of this later, of how this might end up being done graphically. Okay, because we can lighten these. There's all sorts of things we can do to make these look better and a little bit more graphical. But this is just saying what the site is like. I've got to do something that shows what I'm going to do. So that's what it's going to look like, but I need to let somebody know what I'm doing. So I'm going to put in some of my images of the recording studio and what it is that I plan to do. So there we go. So I don't need this because I can say what I'm going to do. And I can put in some of my other images that I've got. Remember, those look tiny, but they're actually pretty good images because I took them large to begin with. There were some others on that site that were pretty cool that I could go back to if I want to. Here's a gallery of the studio. That's a pretty cool one right there too. And so I'm giving an idea to the client about what the proposal is going to be like. And if you do want to play with these, here's your format options. There's a lot of recoloring I can do. I can make it a little bit more opaque. I can give it a little bit extra brightness. I can give it a little extra contrast. I can pull this out of it. I can give it a drop shadow. All sorts of things that I could do. If I want this to kind of cover some space here, I can bring it to the front. So you can see you have a lot of opportunity to be doing some work here. Maybe this one is gonna overlap a little bit, but you will play with this and talk about some of the things that we do. But that's what a recording studio is. This needs some annotations, but it lets me know what I'm going to put there. And then here's where my final plan views, interior design, exterior design, whatever, and section views or elevation views will go. So that's going to be your entire poster. Goes from, what is there now to what is it going to be. This should be the largest eye-catching portion. And these two should also support this in a nice way. Okay? So that's what it means when we say choose a copy of your presentation and just add some things so that you've got an idea right now of where you're going with it. You still have more time to finish this up, but again, you want a concept idea. Oh, and this then gets saved as a download as a PDF. And that's what gets done. And this is large. This is 34 across by 22 high. So this is pretty big. It's like the ones in the wall in the lab.